Hi teens, I'm Patrick George from Jalopnik.
And I am Andrew Collins, also from Jalopnik.
And we are here at Radwood 2, the raddest car show in the world. Andrew, what are we looking at here?
This is an FD RX-7, the third generation, the sexiest by a long margin. Twin turbo. Not only is it an RX-7, this and all the other Mazdas here have been kept by the Mazda factory. So they are on a whole nother level.
Here in California, Mazda has a bunch of historic cars that they reel out for special appearances like this, and they actually drive them. They loan them out to journalists, and so these cars do get driven the way they were meant to. And this is a really clean example of this. All right, there you go. Yeah. Oh.
You gotta
look at that. Get the camera in there.
The gauge cluster on this car is still one of the best and most beautiful. It still looks good 20 years later.
Yeah, it's such a great compact size too. There's always like the lightest of those, like that generation of Japanese sports cars, and I probably was the best. Maybe it probably was actually.
Objectively, perhaps.
Speaking of rotaries, we've got something really unusual and from outer space next to it, and this is a Unos Cosmo rotary coupe. These were never sold in America, hence why it's a right-hand drive, and this was kind of Mazda's luxury coupe flagship in the early 90s. Under the hood, you've got a twin-turbo 3-rotor engine, 2-liter, so we've got one more rotor than this guy over here, and inside, just the sleekest, most high-tech Japanese opulence you've ever seen in your life. If you were a high-powered Japanese businessman who loved speed, or like a member of the Yakuza, this was the car you drove. It's smooth, it's powerful, it's luxuriant.
It kind of reminds me of like a way nicer version of a 90s Prelude.
It's kind of like their answer to like a Lexus SC that came later, but you know, that was sold in America, this wasn't. You gonna fire it up? Did he tell you to? I think you just do it. Just do it, yeah.
Ooh.
Like a kitten?
That sounds pretty good.
Oh yeah, look at that. Like I said, twin turbo, 3-rotor engine.
The only production 3-rotor.
Only production 3-rotor car.
Right, so Mazda has 3-rotor race cars and we have 4-rotor race cars, but from a production vehicle standpoint, this is the only 3-rotor.
Never sold in America, nor this car, nor its engine.
Yeah, everything we have in the Heritage Collection, we make sure is in driving, running condition, or if not, we're working on it to get into that condition.
Yeah.
So all these cars were driven out from our R&D facility in Irvine out this morning. So
this is the NA Miata Coupe. This is, I believe, the only left-hand drive Miata Coupe that was ever made. Chris Perkins here was driving it earlier. This is the only one that was ever made, right, Chris?
Yeah. Hi, Chris Perkins, Road and Track. Good.
Road and what? Road and what?
Track.
Okay.
Travis.
Road and Track. Road and Track.
Road and
Okay.
Track. Yeah.
Sorry, I wasn't familiar with the publication's name.
There's an ampersand.
Okay, nice. That's lovely. I'm glad you have an ampersand.
This is the one.
Yeah.
This is the one. Yeah. So it was a 95. It was a show car.
Yeah.
That for some reason they let me drive here. But yeah, this is the only one. They did the second gen Miata. They sold coupes of these.
Yeah, the NBs, but not in America. It was only in the
there was like 200 of them or so in Japan. But
that was it. Wow.
It sort of looks like the RX-7 a little bit from the rear. It's just a really pretty car, you know.
Yeah. We've got this really pristine MR2 here. I don't know whose this is, but it's one of the nicest and cleanest MR2s I've ever seen. On to the really interesting shit, we've got this Renault 5 Turbo, which I've never seen one in person until today.
This is a great combo right here.
This is really imposing. They want to take this thing rallying, and so they set it up to like with a mid-engine setup, a rear-engine setup actually. So it's like kind of still a Renault 5 hatchback, but only like sort of name only, because it's been so gutted and turned into this brutal-ass race car.
And they sold these just as cars, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's a homologation special. So, like, you know, they sold these to go racing. You've got the motor on it is in the back. Crazy. I can't even imagine what this thing is like to drive today. Not only do I'm sure it's quick, I bet it's like just a handful to drive. Yeah, ridiculous.
I bet those wheels are as wide as they are tall.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we've got the cleanest P38 Range Rover. For those of you at home who are not big Land Rover fans,
Good setup. It's a very British setup. You've got the picnicking and like you're about to go hunting in the countryside.
This era of Range Rover is very unloved.
I think people look at them and they just see like problems, but they're actually really cool cars if you know to take care of them. We have a Porsche 928 right here. Car that almost killed the 911, almost, but it still kind of lives on its as its own, cool legacy today.
Yeah, these are getting expensive, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. They're a lot to take care of. They're neat cars. This caught my eye earlier. This is a really nice Mark IV Toyota Supra, 15th anniversary edition. It's got like bride seats. Have you ever driven one of these Mark IV Supra?
Never.
I haven't, and that's something I owe to like 16-year-old myself. So one day I'd like to get behind the wheel of one, but like
No, I've never driven one.
it's really clean. I'm sure it's had stuff done to it, but overall it looks like it's pretty tastefully done.
The interior reminds me of the RX-7.
Yeah, I'd say kind of
Yeah, center tags.
It was interesting. By then, they had like totally dumped like digital gauges and stuff that they had sort of experimented with off and on in the 80s. It was just like by that point they were like, screw it, and like they know this worked better.
There's actually this is this is kind of what Radwood's all about, right? So I think this is an Accord.
Oh, that's a Prelude. It's a Prelude, my man. That's a really good-looking Prelude too.
Look how freaking clean this is.
I drove one of these with a friend of mine in Austin has one. I drove it about a year ago, and they are so fun to drive today. The cool thing about these two, they have these crazy thin pillars. You drive one, you can actually see out of it. But like this guy's taking really good, or this person is taking really good care of this car.
Have you ever seen a CRV at a car show?
Good for this person, just
But-
rolling up in the CRV. Yeah. Oh,
Far
even better.
superior.
Even better.
Moto Compo. Is this belong to one of you guys?
You're missing two of them. Yeah, they're out riding.
Oh, they're out scampering?
There is a vicious Moto Compo gang that has been terrorizing people all day, shaking them down, stealing their bratwurst. Why don't I own one of those? My life is a tragedy.
This is kind of the Woody corner.
Yeah, we've got the sweet like LeBaron convertible
Yeah,
here.
Look at the plate.
Iacocca. Wood panels on the side. This is a real American luxury machine. This LeBaron right here. Where's the Delica? Oh, we should go see the Delica.
There it is.
This has been a standout for me once we get over there.
This was like their answer to the Syncro, the Volkswagen Syncro, basically. Is that what the idea?
I'm not sure what market segment it competed in Japan, but they had like heavy duty 4-wheel drive systems, and they were using like off-road racing, and it's just completely over the top in this like 80s Japanese way. Like this is called a Super Exceed, and it's got like Super Exceed badges and stitching on the seats. And you got over here, it says Delica Star Wagon, the special gear for 4x4 runners. Like it's got all these it's got like a paragraph of stuff like everywhere you go. It just had so much stuff on it. It needed you to know how much stuff it had. It's like I'm special. Believe in me. Believe in Delica. Why don't we take a detour and look at this nice young man's Z31 300ZX right here.
Is that a Z31? Holy moly!
I wonder what lucky handsome son of a bitch owns this car. It's you. It's your car. You got this for $100.
This is the $100 300ZX. This is increasing in fame rapidly.
What's it like to be internet famous?
Right, this is what it's like. People give you free cars. So this reader, Jalopnik reader, was a huge fan. Started conversing, telling me that she had this 84Z. She didn't want it anymore, but she didn't want to scrap it. She couldn't bear to part with it. If we could give it a good home, we could have it for $100. So we went up to San Luis Obispo, picked it up, threw it on a trailer, towed it home, went through it, fixed some rubber, replaced a brake caliper, and it's running right as rain.
For the most part, it drives pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Good.
It is really slow. If you read reviews from the 80s on this, they're not super favorable, even when it was new.
Yeah, but there's a reason they had to stick a turbo on this thing. It's like, well, we're gonna show them, and it's like then it was like finally fast and decent again. But like, it like bleeds coolness is the thing, even if it's not the most sporty Z ever.
No, but it's rear drive, it's manual, it's got T-tops, it's got excellent pinstriping, and it is like quintessentially 1980s on wheels. The shape is it's blocky, it's wacky, and it's actually in pretty clean condition.
Why don't you show him the pinstriping?
The best feature, of course.
Best feature, yes.
Is the previous owner's name pinstriped into the rear deck lid.
Are you gonna get rid of that?
I don't think we can.
I think that it was owned this long by Marianne that you owe this car.
I think Marianne's name will live on.
So Andrew, that was the major highlights of Radwood 2. How rad were the cars?
That was as rad has been, man. I'm blown away by the quantity and the quality of the machine.
And the variety.
Yes.
Yes.
The diversity of like not only nationality of vehicles but like styles.
Yeah.
Got like trucks, cars, sports cars, GTs. A lot of them are sort of the same kind of like bachelor sportsmobile style. That just seems to be the predominant But holy crap, man. It's so cool to see how fired up people are about this era, this 80s, 90s era.
I know.
It's coming in strong.
We got to keep doing this, I think.
I think y'all should come back next year.
Thanks for watching.